used to drive cab 2 or 3 days a week, and one morning, Sunday morning, about 4 in the morning, I was sitting in my taxi cab, and all of a sudden it just dawned on me that I didn't want to do this anymore. So a week later, I signed up, went back to school. It was the best decision I ever made, and it sort of showed me how to market your music and how to approach about getting gigs and that kind of stuff. So that was probably that 4 o'clock in the morning experience was probably, there was some sort of a thing happened in my head, turned my head around, and made me decide that that's what I wanted to do completely for a living. It's really important for me to be in nature, and it's important to me to be able to make a living and not have to get on an airplane and travel for 20 days at a time. I never really wanted to be away 2 or 3 months in a row, or even 10 or 15 days in a row when the kids were young, because I really felt close to my family. My name is Prevedoros, and I'm an instrumental guitar player. I've been playing for about 40 years now. Do about 200 gigs a year, and I have 10 CDs out, and they're all instrumental. I play a variety of styles of music, classical, Celtic, jazz, Latin. I do a lot of my own compositions as well. I'm self-taught. I didn't take any lessons at the beginning. I taught myself how to read, and then later on I studied with various different musicians and guitarists. My biggest inspiration is a guitarist by the name of Ralph Towner, who played in a group called Oregon years ago. This is 30 years ago, and they were doing world music before world music really even existed. And what I loved about his music was that his compositions were very thorough, and he also plays on a nylon string guitar like I do. I actually come up with some sort of chord progression with the music. I kind of tend to latch on to certain musicians, and then I listen to a lot of their music, and so it kind of inspires me to play in that style, and then I'll kind of write something with the same kind of theme. But the melodies, the actual melody of the music, I always figure them out without the guitar. I figure them in my head. And then I'll go for a walk and I'll just start humming a melody that's kind of going along with the chord sequence. So that's kind of the process that starts. Hi, Elsie? Oh, it's Brad Prevedoros calling. Fine, I thought I'd get back to you right away, let you know that September 15th is open for me. So I do a lot of business and marketing for the music. It's like applying for a job all the time. You don't just have one job, you don't just apply for it and then get it and then you do that job. You're always looking at options, where can I sell these CDs, where can I get this gig? When it's successful, it feels good. When you go to a lot of trouble to arrange something and then it falls through, then it doesn't feel so good. I get so many people, especially around my age, coming up to me and saying, "Oh, I really wish I could do what you're doing now. You know, I worked a straight job for 40 years and it's totally boring." And then I always turn to them and say, "Yeah, but you have a real job. At least, you know, in the middle of February when you're wondering how you're gonna get some gigs to pay the mortgage or whatever, then you sort of appreciate the fact that some people have straight jobs." There are a lot of musicians that people wouldn't know who they were because they're not on the, you know, in the entertainment section of their local paper, that are making a decent living or some sort of living doing music, and I think that that's something that is an illusion to some people. I think people come up to me at a restaurant and say, "Well, what do you really do?" And I'd say, "Well, this is what I do for a living," and they can't believe it. They think, "You've got to be Justin Bieber to do that, you know? You can't be just somebody that's making a decent living doing this kind of work, right?" I would define a famous musician as probably someone that has got a big fan base. You know, either in an indie way, like independently, or through commercial means. I think that some musicians, you know, they're built. Like some rock musicians, it's almost like the label or the management or whoever has come in and said, "We're going to build you and make you famous." I mean, is that saying, "It's not the steak, it's the sizzle"? You know, it's like the promotion is a big aspect of it. Again, Ralph Towner, the fellow I study with, he's probably doing okay financially, but he's famous, but he's famous for what he feels is important to him. That's important to me, for people to respect what I do. If they feel like my music's helping them and making them feel good, then in some respects that's fame, really. Well, one of the things that I heard a long time ago was that musicians don't write the music, they're the conduit of some sort of spiritual energy that comes through, and they just open themselves up to that. So I sort of like to feel that that's what happens. And I like to write music that inspires people and makes people feel good. If I'd moved to Toronto and been a musician there, I probably maybe would be wealthier. Whether or not I'd be any healthier, I don't know. I feel like living on the Gulf Islands or living in this part of the world is the healthiest place in the world to live. The world we live in these days, you know, there's not a lot of good news around, and to be able for people to actually feel good about themselves by maybe listening to some of my music, that's probably the happiest thing of all.